Okay, so what we intend to do is basically the following. So, okay. I will go here into the AVR Studio, and I want first to write a program on the interrupts. So a normal program on interrupts will start by including the interrupt library. So I will say hashtag include, and then interrupt .h, this one. Then underneath it, of course, we will need to add the interrupt service routine, but before that, let me initialize the counter. What we want to do is every time counter 0 overflows, we want to do something. So based on that, let's start by saying that we'll set port B as an output. So DDR B is equal to 0x00. So an output, sorry, FF. That's port B as an output. Then I will set timer 0. Now timer 0, if we want to understand how it is running, then we'll need to open its data sheet. And the data sheet is basically the following. I'm using the 80 mega 32, of course. I hope you can hear me, right? Everything is fine. There was no response. Seems everyone is sleeping.
I hear it.
Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to use the timer 0 overflow vector, which is this vector, vector 16. So this vector is basically vector 16 timer 0 overflow. Now I will go first to timer 0 details. So timer counter 0, which is this timer. We need to do a few settings for the timer. So first of all, we are assuming that our microcontroller is running 16 megahertz. So I will use a prescaler of 1024. Of course, these are all depending on the calculations, but I just want to show you how things are done. So first of all, our prescaler is 1024. So we need to set CS02 and CS01, 00 to 11. These come in which register? They come in the timer counter control register R0. So I will come here into the program. Of course, I'm using the AVR Studio because it is easier to deal with. Okay, I'm using the AVR. Sorry, I'm using the AVR Studio because it's easier when I write the program. So I will say timer counter control register 0. Now there is two ways to write things. I can go here and say this is 0, 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 and then 1, 0, 1. Since only the 2 bits are ones, you can write the program in this way. You will say put 1, you are going to say put 1 into CS02, or put 1 into CS00. Now this will set the timer counter, set these 2 bits to ones, and the rest are zeros. Now the mode that we are going to use is the normal mode, so nothing to be set. So we are going to use the normal mode, and OC0 is disconnected. If we want to toggle OC0 on compare match or clear it, we can change it as we want, but we are going to use the normal mode. We just want the timer counter to overflow, and we don't want anything to appear on the outside pins. يعني it's not like the previous programs. The previous programs we need to set a mode لأنه we wanted to read an output on the pin. يعني I will go back here. Let me go to the pin configuration here. If I was going to write a normal program, which is a timer counter program, then I will go and connect my output to output OC0, this pin. But what I want to do now is I don't want to take the output of the counter, timer counter. I want to the timer counter just simply to overflow the to count to a certain value, and then when it reaches a certain value it will overflow. Yani we will get an overflow. So basically we are going to use the normal mode, and OC0 is disconnected. Then we need to go to the mask. I will go back to the timer 0. Where is timer 0? Timer 0, sorry. Then the timer 0 registers once more. So okay, we have the timer counter control register 0 is already done. Then we have the other register, which is the timer counter 0 register. We are going to put a value in that register, and I will tell you why. Then we have the output compare. Then we have the timer interrupt mask. Now this is the important register. Since we are using interrupts, then we need to enable the interrupt. Okay, and we are trying to timer overflow interrupt mask. We want to enable this bit, timer overflow interrupt enable 0. في عندك 2. You have timer overflow interrupt enable, وعندك output compare interrupt enable. إذا كان المode of operation you want to enable the overflow, then you select the bit number 0. If you want to enable the compare match bit, then you enable bit number 1. So we are going to enable bit number 0. So since bit number 0 is going to be enabled, I will basically come back to my program over here and write the following. I will say timer interrupt mask TIMSK, okay, is equal to, and I want to enable 1 to be put into timer output interrupt enable 0. Okay, now how I know that I'm doing right until now? Because I can see these in violet. This means that the definitions are all right. Of course, we don't forget the semicolon. Now if I go back to the timer modes just before we leave, so this is the wave generation mode. We selected 00, which is, you can see here, it's a normal. The top is FF. Update the of OCR at 0, and which is an immediate, and the timer overflow set on max. So I can select which value I want the timer to overflow, and max will be basically put into the timer counter or TCNT. So in this case I will say that, sorry, once more, not this one, this one. I will say TCNT, which is the timer 0. I want it to have a maximum of, let's say 0x instead of FF, because the maximum of FF, let's say it will have the half of FF, which is let's say, give it a number, 99. Let's give it a 99, 0x 99. So this is just a value. We can leave it as a maximum and we will see how. Now, after all of this is done, we need to enable the global interrupt. So I will say SEI global interrupts are set, semicolon, and then what is SEI is done, then this is done. That's it. This is your program. What's left is to add the interrupt service routine. So the interrupt service routine, I will say ISR and then open a bracket. Which vector we are going to use? We are going to use timer 0 overflow vector. This is why I'm using the AVR Studio, because I can just double click the vectors without worrying about the spelling. Timer 0 overflow vector. So timer 0 overflow vector, what I'm going to do, every time we get a value, I want port B. Every time we get an overflow, I want port B to change its value or XOR with port B. Okay. Let's just leave this one out now and use the normal maximum value. Okay. So if I try to run this program, hopefully I will have no errors. Build successful, no failed, okay, no. So I can do some few things here. Let's interrupt, no such directory, don't worry about this. Okay, so I can do what? I can insert a breakpoint over here. I want to enter the debug mode actually, because if I enter the debug mode, to cursor. Why no such directory as interrupt.h? Interrupt, did I do the spelling wrong? AVR, okay, AVR slash interrupt. AVR, include AVR slash interrupt dot h. Let's try one more time. Okay, so this is good. I want to enter the start debug and breaking. Okay. I want to go and step into step over step. So you can see here my cursor is over here, and I want to go in steps. So I have defined DDRB as my this is the output debug window command stack labels registers. Okay, I want to see the registers over here. So these are the internal registers, the 32 registers, no problem. There was one. Okay, let's continue. Timer counter control register. Okay, enable global interrupts, and then I will you see here, then I reach to the port B. Now port B is having a value of 0. You can see the frequency of the microcontroller we are using is 1 megahertz, and this is the stopwatch. Okay, these again the registers, I should have the registers, which is the state control and status registers. Where is it? Okay, let's try to continue. So every time the counter, I want to find the counter. So you can see that the counter cycle is changing every time we go, and this is the status register. Maybe here I can see reset, stop, reset. Okay, now never mind. Let's this is the program. Let's try to run it in Protos. So I will just copy this program, go to Protos over here. I will open a new project, and in my new project I will call it interrupt. What I wanted to do over here is to go into the debugging mode, and basically I wanted to show you how the outputs appear, but it seems there is one step missing. I'm not sure what it is. The registers, I should have been able to see the registers, but float. Okay. Never mind, I will check it again for you, but this is the idea what I was trying to show you. Anyway, let's come here and we will call our project as interrupt int1 next default next project AVR. We are using the 80 mega 32 and we are running AVR next finish, and I will paste my code over here. Hopefully everything is fine. Now over here, as you know, I set my output to port B, so the easiest way is to add some let's say green lid. So we are going to add a green lid. What's the problem? Okay, so I will add a green lid over here. I will connect the lid to the port, and then I will connect to ground like this. Hopefully, try to run it. Okay, what is wrong? Let's go back to the program. Let me add that line that I removed, which was TCNT timer counter 0 was equal to 0x, let's say B2 semicolon, and this line also needs to be available over here to set the timer every time we redo it, and hopefully things will run. Okay, at least we got port 0 running. Port B is running fine. Let's double check. Hashtag include ISR is timer 0 overflow. نعم.
For GCR.
Sorry?
I mean CCO.
This one?
There is for us. We use CS01. We need to use CS02 for 1 and 0. 0.
Okay, shukran. This one, shukran. Right? Let's see. Double check. ISR timer 0 overflow vector port B. Let's just give the opposite of port B immediately, whatever is in port B. Then let's try this, because XOR should be XOR with 1. I will tell you what's wrong. expected before. Okay, I will tell you, I will use like this, and I will just do one like this. Okay. Now, the problem was I used the opposite of port B, but port B was not set. Anyway, this is the output. I can, sorry, oh no. Okay, as you all know, I don't know, this computer is having problem. I was using yesterday my other laptop and everything was fine. Anyway, I will do it very fast. By now I think we know what is the errors that we are facing. Let's try to open the project, which was interrupt 1. Let's see what's left from the project. I did not save the work, but never mind. I will control Z. I will this was 2, and what I did was here I put a 1 XOR with 1. Let me try this without updating the counter. I will save, and basically I'm not interested in having a lid. I want my oscilloscope to show me the output. So so do like this, do like this, do like this, do like this, and connect this. Okay, try to run. Okay, it's running fine. Time. Okay, this is the time. Now this is the timer counter. Okay, again I did not connect. Let me try to zoom in here. I did not connect any ايش بدي احكي. I did not connect any lids لانه I'm not interested in the lids. I just want to show you the output over here. This is the output as seen from timer 0. Now if I want to change this number for some reason, then I will go over to my source code. Of course I need to stop the program. Let me save it. I need to go to the source code and play around with the maximum value of the timer counter. So over here I can just say timer, what was the register? Timer counter NT0. Let's say it's equal to 0x, give it a value 0x, let's say 30. Let's give it A1. I need to put that number over here, so every time it changes it will not go to the maximum. Then if we go back to our program and run it once more, hopefully the frequency will change. You can see here the frequency has changed. The frequency now is faster. Okay, I will use the same scale. Okay, I will use the same scale. I will keep it over here at 20 milliseconds. And okay, okay, so it was timer, sorry, I have it here. So let's just make it smaller. Let's make it instead of A1, let's make it 90, and we'll put it here and say it is equal to 90. تذكروا, this is the maximum. يعني instead of having the timer counting to FF, I'm going to make it count up to 90. معناته the overflow will happen more often. And remember, I wanted to put it over here at 20. So you can see here that the frequency is changing as we change the timer counter. And one more thing to notice, the timer, the OC0 has nothing to do with the program. OC0, as you can see over here, OC0 has nothing to do with the program. طيب, another question, why is only one lid blinking? I can of course connect B over here to okay. Okay, port B is supposed to have the output but not connected. Why? We can go back and check the program, of course, and basically this is the idea of the timers and counters with interrupt. What I wanted to show you today, I know it has a lot of small things in the programs, but the main idea is it's not difficult to do. You just need to try to know exactly what happens. Even with me, I need to do some tweaks here and there to make sure that my program will run as expected. I just want to show you firsthand how an interrupt with a counter program is done based on what we have studied earlier. Do you have any questions on this? Do you have any questions? طيب, since there are no questions, I want to say a few things. We have around 3 weeks to Ramadan. So basically what I'm hoping is that you can finish your projects before Ramadan. During Ramadan we will have, I think, 1 week or 2 weeks of studies. I think 1 week. I want to make sure that we do the presentations during Ramadan, or if we use one lecture from Ramadan, so that everything will go fine with you. So please try to finish your projects as soon as possible. Next Thursday I will be asking each group what they have done, and you need to present me with something. So be prepared to present part of your work. I will give the presentation to one member of the group, and during that time that member will have to present something to me, show me what you have done. Is there any questions? نعم محمود.
ممكن يعني تشرح، لان انا دورت في الانترنت عن هو الاكواد مال الكيباد وما فهمت منهم، فممكن تشرح لنا يعني مثال مبسط؟
الكيباد basically عبارة عن ماتريكس. اوكي، وهاي
فهمت الكونسبت.
اوكي، الكونسبت وبيعمل سكاننج على البوتنز.
ايوه، بس المشكله في يعني تيجي تكتب الكود ده،
انت ما تكتب الكود محمود، ما تكتب الكود، جيب كود تبع الكيباد جاهز وجربه. اوكي، لانه كتابه الكود تبع الكيباد is not easy. So I can show you over here. Let me reshare my screen. It was, I think, 1 2 3 3 by 4 3 by 4 keypad. Okay, 80 mega, let's say 32. These are some programs how to do it. 4x4, it's not 3x3, it's 4x4. So you can go over to Electronic Wings, by the way, is a very good website. You can find a lot of contents over there. So you can see here how to interface this keypad. Basically, this is the keypad we are using down in our lab. So this is the interfacing diagram, and this is the program. طيب، أول إشي when you see this hashtag include LCD 16 by 2 underscore bit.h, you need to include this file in your project. So you will go down in the supporting file and download these folders and include the file. نعم.
أنا جربت هذا الكود، ولكن الجزئية اللي شرحتها الحين هذه لما سواها في ال AVR يقول لي يعني ما موجودة.
ما هو أنت لازم تضيفه هذا. هذا لازم هون، لازم تيجي هون. let me how to stop this. How to stop. شايف هون؟ هذا اسم البروجكت مالي. اوكي. I will right click over here and add an item. I will go and choose the C file or the hex file for that particular part اللي هو ال LCD. طبعا you need to find that value البروجرام بتفحصه بالفولدر موجود. يعني download and desktop and open. وين راح؟ هذا. You go and add this file to your file over here. عرفت؟ You need to add it to the project. لازم يكون مبين معاك هون. وفي البروتوس نفس الشيء. بروتوس you need to add that file. اوكي او دبل كليك. هو فانكشن في النهاية. اوكي هو بالنهاية فانكشن. The easiest, the other way around is to open it. Did it open? شايف هاد الكود؟ You take from here without the hashtag include للآخر. copy. تيجي على الكود هاد over here and you add it in the beginning. وبعدين تكمل برنامجك. But it will look messy. Okay? It will look messy. بس once you call the void LCD you are going to find it. هدول ها سكرهم. This is how it's done. You can do this or you can add the C file into your project. Okay?
بعدين عادي نستعمل الكيباد.
هذا لل LCD. للكيباد you need to do the same. اوكي.
الدكتور في السب سيستم الاول انت قلت نستعمل ليد. لازم ليد ولا ممكن نسويها يعني مع ال LCD؟
في السيستم الاول the first subsystem yes with lid. The second subsystem is the LCD. Each one build it alone. Don't build two systems together.
ال LCD يعني نحطها مع ايش مثلا؟
مع نفسها.
عشان اطلع
مع نفسها طلع مسج. Just send a message on the LCD. This is the first whatever. Write your name on the LCD.
والموتر حتى بوحده يعني.
Yes.
بيكون DC موتر ولا سيرفو؟
What's the title of the project?
دورلوك.
DC will do it.
دكتور البروجكت بيحتاج يعني مثلا يكون في، لأن شفت أمثلة وكانوا يستعملوا ريزيسترز. بيحتاج يعني ريزيسترز؟
Depends on the type of motors. If you are using Protos, I don't think you need the resistors. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so we'll stop over